to create this castle for a pet lizard. Or maybe you're just wanting to create a castle because you've always wanted to create a castle. It's using the same techniques as in the other videos I've done, creating fake rock. A little different from the paper or Lego castles you can make. The grout really gives a realistic stone look to the castle. Perfect for dragons. They can help defend it from knights. The website has a much longer, more elaborate version of this, still free. So you might want to check that out if you're serious about making these. If you're working with polystyrene and grout, you want to wear one of these masks to protect you from the dust. What I'm going to do is measure out width and height and depth. Maybe draw out a plan and cut that out. Got a sheet of polystyrene I got at the hardware store. And what I did was make 2 layers of that same floor plan. And I'm going to cut out some steps to each entranceway. And I'll measure for height for the first level, that is. Using liquid nails here, but later in the video I'll show you. You could put this entire thing together using just a normal glue. The benefit to certain products like liquid nails is they will bond quicker, enabling you to move or progress much faster in your project. So, for example, here I'm using Mod Podge. I'm assuming Elmer's would work, but you can put this entire thing together using a normal glue. It's just you'll have to hold each piece in place a little longer than what you would have to if you're using a product such as liquid nails. So what I did is have for each of these layers a little hangover piece. It's really an optional stage. You could just have each wall go straight up. It'll just improve the look, because most castles have this where they've got a little bit of a hangover, 45-degree angle underneath, and then that sawtooth design on top, which is what I'm doing here. I've got a whole bunch of, they're actually called Merlins, sawtooth design of the battlement. Cutting out some archways. These are really easy because the polystyrene sheet's already a rectangle. You just cut out the arch, put it in there. Putting the second level, I've already measured and cut out a little trap door area for stairs that I'm doing now. And here you will see the benefit to such products like liquid nails, where I'm moving very quickly and the stairs are holding themselves together just through the sheer strength of that glue. And you want to make sure when you're creating these stairs that if you're making this for a pet lizard or something else, that they can get by these stairs, that they aren't blocking the exit. I'm going to create a little false door here, again just for looks. And decided to make a little tower. Didn't know what else to do for the back of the castle. So, pretty much finished with the polystyrene. I'm going to move on to the grout stage. What I'm using here is a pre-colored gray grout, non-sanded. You can use sanded, it's just a lot more difficult to thin. So you could do this entire project without using any paint whatsoever. There's a lot of different colors available in grout. I did end up using a little bit of black acrylic paint. So putting on the second layer here, I had some leftover, sort of like a beige color. It's probably a good idea to use a different color for different coats. You can see where you've been and where you haven't. You will inevitably be called away from this or these types of projects. You can see the different colors there. I know exactly where I need to start back up. So for the last layer, I put in some cheap acrylic black paint. I wanted the gray a little bit darker than what it came in naturally. And here I'm mixing up some very thick grout to reestablish some detail. This is a little time consuming, but you can mix up with very little water some thick grout. It's basically like clay, where you're using it to sculpt in some finer detail. You got the keystone there with the other making up the door. Reestablishing a fine point or fine edge here with that section that's hanging over. And of course the merlins themselves, those little sawtooth guys, I'm going to leave the tops of them rounded for like a lizard's belly to be safer, but you can sharpen up the sides. Here's a technique where I'm basically applying a texture with thick grout. This is definitely, if you're serious about doing this, you want to check out the website. It has a much longer, elaborate version, still free, about 17 minutes long, where I'm telling you exactly how to do this, but you're just pressing into a thick grout, sort of a stencil mold-like thing I made. I'm going to put some more grout on the basking spot. Here's a technique where using an old spoon you can make the stone look weathered, or the grout look like weathered stone, just by scraping it. So pretty much done with the sculpture. You're going to need to seal it. I'm using a 100% non-toxic acrylic sealer called Shields All. You want to make sure you get... I left the back open to be able to grout and seal it better, and you can see your lizard better. Using a colored sand, colored gray. The sand will increase, traction, plus it'll increase the dry look. So I'm going to color the door here with brown sand. And I tried to do this entire project without the use of any paint, just to show you can do it, but here you can see I'm using some black paint to do some very fine detail. But obviously an optional stage. You want to reseal this, the same sealant, a couple layers. And I'm going to put in some more color detail. I'm using a dark gray sand at this point. Maybe put in some areas where it looks like might have suffered some battles, some cannon fire or something. And you want to brush away excess sand. There will be a ton of it if you cover the entire thing in sand. And there you have it. Like I say, the website has a longer version that's just as free. You can get a lot more tips.